Welcome back, guys. I am Kevin, and welcome to Cinephellas. And I am here to talk about my segment that I like doing called Seven with Kevin, where I catch up with all the movies in 2025, pick seven of them, and talk to you about each of them very briefly. I know these lists usually contain a lot of movies that no one has ever heard of, or maybe no, never want to see. I know how I am, and I know like picking movies that, are independent or, not something you would run to the theater to see. So I figured that I would do seven movies that everyone knows, popular movies that came out in 2025, and movies that you'll go through all these seven like, oh, I know all these. Oh my God, he's talking about things that people actually watch. So without further ado, let's get to it. So we are kicking off with Megan 2, and in 2022, the original Megan came out, and it was a perfect mixture of horror and ridiculousness. It wore those two traits on its sleeve, with pride. The film showed the horrifying possibilities of AI. It had a pretty cool villain. I love the creation of Megan, how it was a mixture of CGI and some scenes where a little person or a kid looking like Megan in far shots or shots that she was doing something like a stunt or flip. In the sequel, Megan shifts from being the protagonist to the protagonist, and that's where the first that's the first mistake, and it makes a really crappy action movie. Megan comes back to battle another AI, and the sass of the character that was very wisely used in little spoonfuls throughout the whole first film goes into overdrive. And, these lines aren't funny. The comedy isn't funny, and it gets very old very fast. The criticism doesn't stop with the main character, Megan. Allison Williams, who's back in the sequel, and who was pretty decent in the first one, along with every single character actor in this movie. They are all flat, unengaged, and seem uninterested in what this film is. And they think this is going to be a start of a franchise. I know it didn't make its money back, but even the quality, hell no. I have no interest in where this is going. I think it's pretty crappy. And yeah, as I said, it has made no money, and I don't think we have anything to worry about. And I'm going to give this 1.5 out of 5 Megan hair pieces. It's been over 10 years since the Karate Kid IP came back in a very strong way. What started out as a little show based upon the movies, called Cobra Kai, blew up into a cultural event. Everyone watched Cobra Kai. It was number one on Netflix for months. And it's still, it's still being watched by a lot of people. So when this movie was announced, it gained interest of many fans of Cobra Kai. But the more information that came out about it, the more people started to lose interest, including myself. But I wanted to see it. I wanted to see, maybe I'm wrong. Yes, we have Johnny, we have Daniel, and Mr. Han. Mr. Han is played by Jackie Chan. And for those of you who don't know, they tried rebooting The Karate Kid back in 2010 with Jaden Smith. And Mr. Han, who was Jackie Chan, as I said, he was supposed to be the Mr. Miyagi of that story. So they are also pulling him. So they're using the two franchises to basically start a new franchise. And, all these characters, I mean, Daniel's son and Johnny, they're really not in it that much. They are basically there just to sell the tickets to get people into the theater. And the lead is his name is Ben Wong, and I had no problem with his performance. I think he had charisma. He knows what he's doing with the karate and the martial arts. He's very convincing, but he is tied down by a really, really shitty script that will ask you, make you ask yourself, is this the best they came up with in all these years they had to basically plan this out? Not even, from the rest movies of the Karate Kid, but, from the time of Cobra Kai, you had like 10 years and this was the best. No, absolutely not. For the first part of the film, Wong is kind of the main character, and he is a mentor to one of his friend's fathers who's trying to learn how to box and how to fight. Okay, that's a pretty cool twist in the genre. We're not looking at the rise of the Karate Kid. The Karate Kid knows the martial arts, and he is teaching someone else. He is doing what Mr. Miyagi would do. He is making someone better through the use of karate. But that part is rushed through. That part is like 45 minutes. And in a 90-minute movie, the other 45 minutes is dedicated to the tournament. And you can't do that. You can't have two plots like that. Ben Wong, who's the main character, of course, he runs into a bully. He's the new kid in school, and it is completely rushed through. You don't feel anything. And you can look at all those Cobra Kai episodes, or you can look at the Karate Kid films, and you could see a very thought out, planned journey for a character, learning to stand up for himself, learning how to fight, and learning what the heart and soul of Cobra Kai means. Outside of the fighting, there's really nothing interesting in this movie. There is a love story that is completely uninteresting and unengaging. Yeah, it's just there for cash. It's there to get people in seats. They don't really care because the quality here is terrible, and I'm gonna give this one 1.5 out of 5. Karate chop the hair pieces. Speaking of a cash grab film, we have Nobody 2. Well, this one fares a lot better than Karate Kid Legends. It's a sequel that didn't really feel like it had to be made. Bob Odenkirk is always fun to watch, and I had a great time watching him in the first film. I recently, in the last year, finished Better Call Saul, and it was incredible. So I'm like, okay, maybe he can give me something. And Colin Hanks is here too. And Colin Hanks, in my opinion, is a really interesting actor because he doesn't shy away from the fact that he is Tom Hanks' son, but he has basically carved out a little niche for himself as an actor. I don't think of him as this Tom Hanks' son. He is a legitimate actor, and I look forward to sometimes what he's going to give me in a project. Then we also have Sharon Stone here, who is chewing the scenery like a dog chewing on a squishy, you know, squeaky toy. I don't know if they have specific names, but she is really over the top here. Since this is a sequel, the action is bigger. The set pieces are larger, more elaborate. Again, this is not a bad film. I kind of had a good time watching it. And, it seems like Golden Kirk is going through his Liam Neeson phase of like being the older man in action movies. I know he had one come out this year. I forgot what it was called in 2026. But, again, this didn't really need to be made. If you want to see it, if you were a fan of the first one, go ahead. But I just didn't really find it that engaging, but it is not a bad movie. It's fun to watch and it's very short. I'm going to give this one 2.5 out of 5 bloody knuckle hair pieces. Okay. The following review for Minecraft, a Minecraft movie, is from someone who has never played the games. Yes, I know the significance of it. I've seen them played. I have a lot of friends with kids. But any of the Easter eggs or any inside jokes, I am unaware of. Like, I don't understand what Chicken Jockey was until I asked my friend's kids because, that's a part in this movie. So, I'm kind of really going in fresh. And we have the director of Napoleon Dynamite, who is behind the director's chair here, or in the director's chair. And his presence is felt with the humor before they go into the world. We have this very small town in America, and it's in the middle of nowhere. It reminded me of Napoleon Dynamite a little bit. And we have Jack Black. Jack Black headlines this film. He is Steve, who is, I guess, the icon of Minecraft. And he sings. Of course, he sings. He's Jack Black. I wonder if every movie there is something in his contract that he has to sing a song. Along for the ride is also Jason Momoa, and I really liked how unserious he took himself in this movie, and he is fun to watch, and he is goofy, he's lovable. We know him as Khal Drogo or any of the action movies where he's intimidating. Here he's just like a big goof, and I enjoyed watching him. For our younger fans, we have Emma Myers from Wednesday, and she's pretty much a sassy teenager, and she does that very well. But one performance that is a part of this film and a storyline connected to that performance belongs to Jennifer Coolidge. That did not need to be in this movie. I don't know why they put that in this movie. It stalls the story. It isn't interesting. It's lame, and it's so apparent how bad it is. But I'm basically willing to forget that because I loved the design of the world. I loved everything from how the sets looked, the world and how the characters looked and all the little things, all the little knickknacks of how this world operates. Again, I've not played this game, so it was all new for me. Maybe that won't, the novelty of that won't affect you if you know these games, but for me, I really liked it. It kept me basically engaged in it. I heard a lot of people talking shit about this film before I watched it, and you know, I kind of dug it. To me, it was mindless fun. Um, they're making a second one. I will basically watch it, and I'm gonna give this one 2.5 out of 5 block-headed hair pieces. Putting aside the controversy that you know, if you do know about Aziz Ansari, I think he's an incredible writer and he's a pretty good director. If you haven't seen his Netflix show, Master of None, you're missing out on a really cool show that has sharp observations about dating and overall life. Here he tells the story of a down in his luck man who he plays, who is given a life he has dreamed of by an angel who has also has his own problems, who is played by Keanu Reeves. Seth Rogen plays the man that kind of switches places. We got a trading places kind of thing going on in this movie. Aziz becomes the millionaire, and Seth Rogen becomes, the struggling guy trying to basically make it in life. Reeves, outside of action movies, when he's not shooting and punching, um, his charm is that he basically is a little awkward and stiff. But Aziz Ansari knows how to do this well, and he makes him an angel who means well, but he's kind of clumsy in the way he's teaching lessons to Aziz Ansari and Seth Rogen's characters. The story is straightforward, and let me tell you something. It was really nice to see a big budget comedy, a comedy that is in theaters. It was nice to see this again, and it's a well done movie. It had heart, it had humor. It wasn't a home run, but you know, I did enjoy this. And if you are a fan of Aziz, please check this out. If you are able to basically put aside what you know about him, please try this. It is a very pleasant time watching a movie, and it does contain, as I said, heart and a lot of laughs. And I'm going to give this one 3 out of 5 angel hairpieces. Okay, so Alex Garland teams up with Iraq vet Ray Mendoza to give us 90 minutes of pure hell with warfare. This isn't a film about dramatics, like Saving Private Ryan. This is unrelenting violence that these soldiers and us are put through for this, 90 minutes of screen time. The film takes place in one single location where soldiers are holed up trying to survive the opposing forces slowly trying to creep into their space. It's a tense experience, and the directors work well together and make it very visceral. We have a lot of young actors here. We have Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn, Charles Melton, Michael Gandolfini, and Noah Centineo. And again, this isn't a movie of big dramatic speeches, of big dramatic moments, but the goal of just surviving. And all those actors convey the worry, the doubt, the fear of being a soldier trapped while the enemies are slowly gaining traction on your location, and they catch that very well through facial acting and like this. Basically all these performances are physical and facial acting, as I keep saying. When you mix the knowledge of war which Mendoza has with a knowledge of good filmmaking that Garland has, outside of men, but we won't get into that. You're gonna make something very special, and you're gonna make something that has its own feel. And for the film genre of a war film, which all these films kind of feel the same. This one kind of stands out, and I'm going to give this one 3.5 out of 5 soldier hair pieces. And finally, number 7 is Den of Thieves, and it is my favorite film that I watched on this list. Listen, I am a sucker for a heist film. I'm a sucker for a heist film that is done well. And that is why I have a very soft spot for the original Den of Thieves, which star Gerard Butler and O'Shea Jackson. And they're back, and this time they're going international. And the cop played by Gerard Butler is kind of teaming up with O'Shea Jackson, who's the criminal from the first film, and they had conflict, but so they kind of got to squash that conflict to work together, and it looks great. The heist is pretty cool, the action's very good, but it is masculine in a very believable way. I've always said that Gerard Butler was and is a 90s actor. I believe if he was born in the 90s, he would be the biggest thing since sliced bread. He'd be up there with Gibson. He'd be up there with Schwarzenegger. He has the natural swagger that can be basically faked. Yeah, sure, you can have other people play, a tough guy, but this guy really seems like he can kick your ass, and he's also very funny. Him and O'Shea Jackson have great chemistry. And overall, I had a really good time with this one, and I'm going to give this one 4 out of 5 Gerard Butler hair pieces. All right, guys, that wraps it up. What did you think? Did you see all these movies? Was I on par with them, or maybe some of them you hated? Maybe you hated Den of Thieves. Maybe you thought it was a shit movie. Let me know below. Let me know. Come to the website cinephellas.com. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X. I almost forgot one. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Again, I love talking film with you. And yeah, as we say on the website, I am Kevin, and cheers.